Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the crumpiest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. My man Donovan Sadiq is missing in action. We gotta find it. But I still got the queen, Demetra K, in the building. And I am the 5-star general. Say, man, I'm literally telling you to get a seatbelt tonight. Because we're going to talk about the Missouri City, Texas mayoral race. It is the Democratic chair, Cynthia Ginyard, operating the Democratic Party like a real gangster. We gonna find out tonight, I can promise you that one. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone, and thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we would definitely be a shadow of a doubt. But you're the greatest audience in the world, so we appreciate you tuning in. And Donovan will be on immediately. He taking care of something. So in the news today, I'm gonna tell y'all the biggest secret in the world. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But you make sure you tell the world what I'm about to tell you. We black and we still poor. How you doing, Demetra?
I was looking. I thought that was gonna be like some breaking news or something.
It's literally breaking.
Well, I'm doing well, and I hope you guys are all doing well too. And welcome again to the Tuesday night edition of the War Zone. And stay tuned. Tomorrow is the vice presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. It's funny, I have to think about like who's the vice president because you hardly ever hear anything from him, but Mike Pence, and so. That'll happen tomorrow. But as you guys probably know, there's a lot more fallout from Trump's COVID situation. More and more people have contracted the COVID-19. Another one was Stephen Miller, one of his top White House aides. He's considered to be like one of the big time racists that's helping Trump pull all the strings and stuff. So he also has COVID. And so a lot more people are just catching it. You know, what can you say? You know, you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. You hang around people who don't wear a mask, you end up with COVID. So I don't know.
Well, it might be the COVID or it might be the crabs. We don't know what the people got over there, but whatever they got, everybody getting it. They might need some Blue Star ointment.
Or some
if you got the crab, get you cut all your hair off and get you some Blue Star ointment and just rub that cream all over you. Like my mama used to say, rub that salve on you. They're going to have to rub that salve on them, man, because they got something. And I don't know what it is, but ain't no COVID been getting rid of no 2-3 days. That sound like the crabs to me.
Well, you know, they also said that Trump has been given the best care, like the cocktail and all that they put together for him would cost like, I don't even know if there's a dollar tag on it, but most people, even with insurance, probably wouldn't be able to afford what he was given. Now, we know that it takes COVID some time to run its course. So is he really sick? And he's just, trying to put on airs like he's, doing all this work? Because Sean King put up some photos, I guess, that were time-stamped with like 10 minutes apart. But the photos, one, he doesn't have a jacket on, and the other one, he has a jacket on. They're trying to make it seem like he was all about the White House, doing all of this work. And they also have a picture of him. I guess he's on the balcony without his mask on. So it's like, dude, you're COVID positive and you're still around here with no mask on. So like, what's the deal?
Well, let me ask you a question then. What's the two biggest issues he had going on a week or two ago?
I think most people forgot his taxes and the debate debacle, if you will.
It's called deflection. Like I've always said, Trump has not done anything to me, so I don't care what nobody tell me. Biden ain't done nothing to me. I could give a damn about Biden too. But I also know deflection when I see it. Y'all ain't talking about them taxes no more. You ain't talking about standing by no more. The man is a master marketer. Donald Trump has the COVID as as much as I am 119 goddamn pounds. And I don't care what nobody say. The wife is right along with him. And they gonna go to hell for lying on a disease that then killed a whole bunch of people. I don't feel he got no COVID. I feel that he made his other issues go away, and America felt for it. They felt for it again.
I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. They don't think that he has it, but allegedly, there's all these other people who have it, and like I said, including a big time pastor out here in Southern California. He was sitting there in the Rose Garden as well without a mask on, and he's a big time Trump supporter. He gets on his whatever it was social media and says that he's contracted it, and we shouldn't try to politicize this, that, and the other. So there's quite a few people who allegedly have it, right? A lot of big name people. So. But you're right. We're definitely not talking about the other stuff.
Exactly. He knew how to make it go away. So, it ain't even looking, Clarissa Mayfield Napier, it's not looking for sympathy. He knows how to make problems go away. He's a master marketer. He has a hell of a team, and America falls for it every single time. That's where they know how to get in y'all head. It is what it is. Do you really think that they would put Trump in a position to catch the COVID when early voting starts next week in the state of Texas? Man, you got to be crazy, man. I got some beachfront property in the middle of the ship channel if you want it. Man, that man ain't sick, man. He's Donald Trump, and he living in a reality world.
Yeah, something definitely weird is going on, and this might be one of those mysteries, like, did a man really go on the moon, or walk on the moon? So, and who shot Kennedy, right? We'll probably never really know, but they call this whole COVID thing October surprise. That's a term that they use during election season, where most campaigns are kind of smooth sailing, if you will, and then bam, surprise, Hillary and her emails, or Barack Obama in his, Jeremiah Wright, that kind of stuff. So things come up in October to try to derail people's campaigns. But to your point, this might be something Trump is using to try to sway the conversation away from his taxes and his horrible, horrible performance at the debates. But is he trying to get sympathy? I mean, yeah, I think it's possible that you can sympathize with a person who is sick and still not vote for him, right? So I don't know if people are so, I feel so sorry for him to where they go out and vote for him if they weren't already.
Well, let me say this here, man. Trump is the little pink man or the little orange man that cried wolf. Don't nobody know what to believe coming out his mouth right now. So, I'm going to say, your ass ain't sick because I don't give a damn who you is. Herman Cain ain't come back from it. I ain't seen nobody come back from the COVID in no goddamn 2 days. And if you came back from the COVID in 2 days, whatever you took would be on the stock market and be blowing up. That means you found the cure. So, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm going to just say he good at what he do, which is lying. And I'm going to just start calling, he is what he is. And I'm going to just start calling him La La Trump.
Well, as I said, and to your point too, Gary, I mean, he's 75, 74, something like that. Not in the best shape. They say he eats McDonald's more than he should. And, he drinks Diet Coke all day. So, he's probably not in the best condition. And to your point, how come Herman Cain didn't get that cocktail? Why is he pushing up daisies?
Well, if we look at the thing, that's going on in America now, you got a lot of change. You can't get exact change. So, no coins are running around. They're short on coins. Herman Cain didn't get no cocktail because he was a nickel.
And he was a rich one on top of that.
Exactly. So that's how I know he had the money to get whatever he wanted. So, at the end of the day, man, look, Trump, kudos to you, my brother. Keep doing what you do, man, because I'm going to tell you something. You cold as ice water, pimp.
So anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So, Gary, what's going on there in Missouri City?
You got a mayoral race down here in Missouri City, Texas. And you know, that's the suburb of Houston. If y'all ever been down here, that's where the Wiggles live. The wannabe black folk, they run out there to go buy them a house they can't afford, or they don't Section 8 and ain't got no furniture. But anyway, you know, some of them are affluent. But anyway, you got a mayoral race about to pop off. And can you tell us the candidates who are in the mayoral race, Ms. Demetri, real quick?
So from what I understand, one is Robin Alley
Yeah.
the mayor, the incumbent, which is Yolanda Ford, and the other guy slips my mind. My apologies.
Fred Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got Robert Alley who's masquerading you, and I'm just telling you what I see. You know, don't get mad at the messenger. The persona is this is a black woman. No, it ain't. That's a dude. That's a dude that look, I don't know, white, whatever. But you ain't no black woman. So the mayor, the voters in Missouri City, Robin, and then we don't know how to spell his last name, so we gave him one. Robin Alley is not a black woman. You feel what I'm saying? Now you got the mayor, Yolanda Ford. Let me tell y'all something, man. It ain't nothing worse. And these are my words do not reflect the attitudes and it's not a reflection on Demetri and the rest of the people from the war zone. Let's say that first. This is my disclaimer. Yolanda Ford is worse than trash in a garbage bag. Ain't nothing worse than trash in a garbage bag, except for the juice at the bottom. And the juice stank worse than the trash. This woman has made some moves in the last 3-4 years that don't make no sense. I'm being straight up with y'all. I just sat there and I watched. I even reached out to her office on a couple of things, got no response. Just like the people in Missouri City, that they've reached out to her. She is the classic example of what is wrong with black politics. You get in the office with your black girl magic. You got in there. You ain't did nothing since you got in there. Nothing. I want people to go back and tell me if I'm wrong. If you go back and you look at Hurricane Harvey, what did she do? Nothing. You go back and you look at the COVID. How did she address it? Nothing. You look at the firing of the city manager who was there, who was beloved by the community, and watch how she overstepped city council. What is Yolanda Ford doing? And the last person you got running has been in the community forever, Fred Taylor. You know, everybody know him. I mean, when we ask ourselves, why did people die when it came to voting? They died to make sure we got something for our vote. Am I correct? So Fred Taylor is the guy, without going into office, that has a resume of what you need to be doing in your community. You feel what I'm saying? So you got 3 candidates, one masquerading as a black woman, the other one is garbage juice, and then you got Fred Taylor, who just kind of balances everything out. So those are your 3 candidates. I'm gonna give it to you, Demetri.
And so from what I understand too, you know, from what I read, sounds like Mayor Ford she is actually the first black woman or black person rather to be elected as mayor for Missouri City, and also the first woman. I guess she was elected in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. She won by like 52%. Originally, I guess it was a runoff, and then she ended up winning by 52% of the vote. And she beat the incumbent who was there since 1994. And so it sounds like, from what I was reading, quite a few people were very ebullient. They were excited that she replaced this person who had been in office for so long. But and I don't know anything else of her record, just basically what you're telling me. So people were excited that she was replacing the old hat, if you will. And it sounds like she hasn't done anything. And so I ask you, Gary, what were they excited about? Like, what was she supposed to do that the other person wasn't doing?
Well, first of all, if you understand that community of Missouri City is that quote unquote word that I heard, I hate, which is diverse. It's very, very diverse. So you have sections of it where you got affluent people, you got sections where it's poor people. But I mean, it's a community that's kind of well rounded. You know, a lot of people kind of know each other. So, you know, what they expected was basically her to do her job. And I mean, she's standoffish. She's the classic example. You know how the black politician get in office, and then once they get in office, they don't know you. You can't get to them no more. You know, and this has been a concern for a lot of people in that community. And along the way, people like, and I'm not just picking Fred, you know, but Fred is one of those people in the community that had to pick up the slack just from a community person level. Just be there for the community when this woman was basically high and dry. She's totally disconnected from the community. So, I mean, that in itself has turned a lot of people off, but she does have some major support. And that comes from the Democratic chair, Cynthia Ginyard. That's a whole totally different story. You know, Ms. Ginyard is highly revered in the Democratic community, especially in Fort Bend County as well as Harris County. But a snake is a snake. Man, what you talking about? Man, I know this. Now, Demetri, you don't know. I just want you to look surprised. Ginyard out there running the Democratic Party like she done Vito Corleone Ginyard. Man, what you talking about? Man, the woman is on something else. Let's put it like this here. You know, and I'm gonna say this here, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm outing you, Miss Ginyard, because I don't want you to think it's a shot. I don't want you to think this is a shot. See, would you agree, Demetri, that the world is a small place? So that means that Missouri City, Texas, and the city of Houston is smaller than the world, right? Ms. Ginyard, I know about your tactics. Your tactics, you've even tried to use them on me. You've tried to use them on other candidates who you felt didn't deserve to be in office. I think we've heard that before, Demetri, where somebody in the party feels it should be that person. And you hold certain seats hostage. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, you tell me. I've gotten word. I'm trying to confirm this. So allegedly, you hold two of the biggest seats hostage in the United States of America. The seat that Al Green sit in, and the seat that Sheila Jackson Lee sit in. You make sure nobody runs for those seats. Not out of Fort Bend County. And the trade-off is allegedly that as long as you do that, they're gonna take care of you. So my question is why am I outing you? Because you stuck your toes into my garden. You didn't think I'd find out, huh? You didn't think I'd find out, huh? You dirty and you got underhanded tactics, and now you out big supporting Yolanda Ford. So all I'm trying to figure out is where is the slot machine? Because it sounds like somebody about to hit the jackpot on this one.
Wow. Miss Ginyard, she is not rare. Every, I think, campaign or party has a person like Miss Ginyard. Especially in our community, there's a person that'll sell us. You ever bought a box of firecrackers and you were so excited to, pop them, and every time you tried to pop one, it was a dud. It didn't go off. Well, that's what they do. They sell us duds, and because this person is black, we're like, oh my God, we got to vote for him. We got to, get behind him and this, that, and the other. And what a shame. And that, like when I was researching about Miss Ford, it's like, oh, okay, she's the first woman to do it. She's the first black person to do it. Okay. Obviously that means something to somebody, but what a shame that she's gotten in there and has done nothing with either one of those titles, because you would think if she was the first to do it on both scales, she would at least try to say, hey, I didn't disappoint you, but it sounds like it's a disappointment. But to Ms. Ginyard, you have those people who sell the community, these people that get them all dressed up and they're going to come and do a bang up job and they're going to, really make things happen, and they don't. But, obviously it's a bigger payoff, like you said, for people like Ms. Ginyard to guard those seats and to put certain people in there. And usually it's people who aren't going to play ball, people who aren't going to actually help the community. I mean, you said Hurricane Harvey came through there and she didn't help the people at all. And I live in Southern California. In fact, I was supposed to travel to Houston during that week, and I had to push my flight back because the water was everywhere. So clearly people were in, you know, they caught a bad one with Hurricane Harvey, and she did nothing to help them. I mean, that's horrible. So I guess the question remains is, are people going to fall for it again and vote for her the next time around?
Well, if they're not looking to get nothing for their vote, they definitely will vote for Yolanda Ford. They will vote for Yolanda Ford. But I tell you what, you know, the tactics that have been used against Fred Taylor the last time he ran, the tactics that are being used against Fred Taylor this time while he's running, you know, why is it so important for somebody who's in a position of power to try and put this man's personal business out with his wife? That's not your business. That ain't even dirty politics. You a dirty man. That's all it boils down to. But the thing is, if you, and you've heard me say it a few times, that if you're gonna put something out, make sure that it's factual. Don't just put that stuff out there. Let me show you how. You know, I'm a consultant. You know, I've even heard that folks tell me, she tell people, you can't work with Gary Monroe. Why? Because you don't want him to win. You crazy as hell if you don't. I don't lose races. I win. But if she telling you that, she definitely don't want you to win. So, you know, that's why I could not be beholden to these quote unquote politicians. So another thing we need to look at too, that Ms. Ginyard herself is running for office again for Democratic chair. And I think that the Democratic community may need to look at getting better representation. See, this thing where we just picking these black folk because they black, that ain't working, man. It just ain't working, man. You know, we tried it. We tried it 1,000 times, but it ain't working. And then what's going on out there? And when I say didn't do nothing doing Harvey, nothing, Demetri. Nothing. These people can't even talk to this woman. This woman is basically non-existent. So my thing and right now, if you can see the comments, ain't nobody told me I was wrong yet. Ms. Ginyard or Ms. Ford, if you would like to contradict me, please come to the war zone so we can have this discussion. Please tell the city of Missouri City why you got rid of the last city manager and overstepped the city council. Tell me that. Now, I also want people to understand, because we're doing something tonight, Demetri. You know, a lot of times we be on here and we be cutting up white folk. Tonight, we got the scissors for your black ass. We cutting you up tonight. So tell me, what did you actually do during COVID? Now you I don't know if you remember. The people that we see working the most in Missouri City during COVID was Lynn Clauser. I may not name everybody, so y'all forgive me. Pastor Terrence Hall, Ron Reynolds, everywhere. Where you been at, Yolanda Ford? When the last time you passed the mass out? When the last time you made sure them seniors had something to eat? But I bet you want them senior votes. Y'all need to get to y'all grandma and grandpa house in Missouri City and make sure they do not put an X or a check mark next to this woman's name. So, Mr. Monroe, who you rocking with? I'm going to take the underdog. I'm going to take the man y'all tried to drag like a dog, and I'm going to get behind him just on GP. I'm going to run with Fred Taylor. So, y'all in Missouri City that be inboxing me, who should I vote for? I'm rocking with Fred Taylor. Talk to me, Demetri.
Yeah, and Angela, how you doing? Angela Thompson says, why not get behind our black people? You guys always talk about support your kind. just feel like, go ahead, Gary, go ahead.
I let you catch your breath. I know it's one of the moments. Angela Thompson, let me tell you something, baby. I don't think you get it. And you don't want to get it. It's every night with you. You don't want to get it. So what I'm not going to do, and I don't think Demetri needs to do, we can read another comment, Demetri. I'm not finna even entertain that. Because I just told you this woman ain't did nothing. And I'm not getting behind you because you black and you ain't doing nothing. That's the problem now. That is the problem with politics in America, in the black community. We keep supporting the ones that ain't doing nothing. And you want us to keep doing it, right? You must have a hell of a 401k. You got to have a hell of a 401k. You must make $450,000 a year. Because if you poor, that shit shouldn't make no sense to you. You can have that, Demetri.
You said what I wanted to say. I mean, it's like, Angela, you hear almost every night. And I'm with Gary in that I just don't think you want to get it, right? You just, but that's how they get us, though. And I say they, I mean the establishment, you know, these campaigns, these black politicians. Oh, well, I'm black. You know, we should get behind our own people. Well, the biggest and most terrible example I can think of is when we did that was Barack Obama. We got behind him 8 years, 2 elections in a row. We got behind him. And what do we as black people have to show for it? We don't have anything to show for it, but we are the only ones that tell each other, well, you know, overall, for the most part, we need to get behind them because they black. Or she a black woman, get behind it. And from what Gary is telling me, people got behind her. She beat the incumbent who was there since 1994. And I'm assuming the black people expected her to do something. And maybe they went on that whole thing like they're doing with Kamala. Oh, she's going to be the first black woman in the White House to be vice president, this, that, and the other. But it's like, what are we getting for it?
I want to send a shout out back to Black Warrior Spirit. Thank you for checking in, California Bay Area. I think that we don't understand where we are right now. And that's why we are hurting. You know what I like about white folk and politicians? I love it. White people ain't got a problem firing your ass. If you ain't doing your job in a political seat, your ass gonna get fired messing with these good white people. But you Negroes is totally different. Y'all gonna have us on the plantation forever. Y'all gonna have us on the plantation forever. See, the type of Negroes we dealing with right now is the type where they could put a big ass billboard outside the plantation. The Negro is free. Y'all the type of Negro go out there and chop the billboard down. Y'all will put rope around the goddamn gate so we can't get out. And then you're going to go get you a bullhorn. You're going to stand right by the Massa bedroom window. Massa, they trying to escape. This the type of black folk we dealing with nowadays. Man, we got to use the vote to get us where we need to be. If everything was kosher in Missouri City, then why in the hell you got to go out there all the time and fight for schools? You got a predominantly black high school, Marshall High School, and I got to go out there and help them people every now and then. They doing a great job on their own now. But look at what they got to go through. Come on, man. We can't keep supporting these coons, man. Yeah, you ain't got to just kick it with the white folk and sell us out to be a coon. You can be a coon by just not doing what you are able to do when you have the ability. When you have the ability. And we can't keep supporting wrong. We can't keep doing it. So I'm telling you, I'm here. I put calls in, no call back, emails, no emails back. She trash, and I stand on my 10 toes with it.
And Rose, how you doing? You say we are struggling black people because we don't get along with each other. We envy each other for what they have and don't want to get up themselves. But that's partially true. But I don't know if that's where you're going with it. But that's not true here. And as Gary said, we should be able to call out our black politicians. Like, golly, why do we keep voting for oppression? You got, Maxine Waters, who's been in office, 30 years, give or take. You have Sheila Jackson Lee. You have all these. It was Elijah Cummings. You had John Lewis and all these other people who have been in office for so long, and we can't fully answer the question as to whether we're better off because they were there. A lot of people will say no, they have done nothing for black people, and yet we look at it as if we are holding them accountable. Oh, well, we're envious. Oh, well, we just don't like black people. Well, maybe black people are starting to wake up and say, no, we don't like getting nothing. We send you to Washington or wherever we send you in good faith that you're actually going to do something for us, because you should do something for us if we give you our vote, and you never do. So I don't understand, why do we continue to vote for those people, and then we try to pass it off as stuff like, oh, it's jealousy. Oh, well, black people just don't like black people. Oh, we don't get black people. That's not what it is. Like Gary said, white people will fire each other in a heartbeat. Well, we don't like what they're doing. But us, we'll ride it. We'll ride the car till the wheels fall off, the transmission falls out, the radiators exploding. I'm like, the car be totally dilapidated, and we'll still be questioning, should we jump out of it or not? Crazy.
Well, let me say this here, man. I'm gonna take y'all back if y'all a little old school. Now, Kim Hardison, she lives out there. She say we can't keep supporting wrong. No lies, Gary. She doesn't respond to no one. So here's my thing. Did y'all watch The Temptations, the movie? I want the people in Missouri City to treat this situation like The Temptations. I want you to be Otis. Otis didn't give a damn about nothing but singing. We gonna sing good, we gonna do what we do. So all this about we need to get along, no, we don't. We ain't gotta keep supporting wrong, and that's the only way I can get along with you if I support a wrong politician. Well, guess what? Get to stepping. Get to stepping. Let me read them Nikes on your way out the door. Because I'm not gonna kick it with you. You feel what I'm saying? Just based on me supporting a black politician that ain't doing nothing. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not finna do it. And that's the reason that we struggling. That's the reason that we hurting. Because y'all will not do the research, and you will just jump and fall for anything. How can this woman even go to the community and ask for support 4 years later after you shitted on the community for the last 4 years? And ain't nobody out there gonna tell me no different. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna treat her like Otis would treat her. Either sing the song or you can leave, David. And right now, she ain't been singing the right tune for the last 4 years. So treat her like Otis would treat David, and like the other folk treated Bobby. Get your ass off the bus.
Now, yeah, most definitely. I mean, it sounds like it's time for her to go. And then you have a firsthand witness. And Kimberly said, hey, I co-sign what you're saying. She doesn't respond. Like, how are you a mayor and you don't respond to your constituents? You're the mayor at the very least should be accessible to his or her people. But just to shun people, like, no, like, I'm not even going to answer you back. But when election season comes, then you're going to be out there shaking hands and hugging and taking pictures with people. You might hand out a turkey or two, but after that, you're going to go back in your cave and ignore the very people that got you there. So, we just have to want better for ourselves as black people. We got to stop believing that just because they're black, they're good for us. As I said, we've seen plenty of examples where that's not true. That is simply not true. A lot of these black politicians are pawns for white supremacy. They're going to get in there. And I mean, look at Daniel Cameron there, the AG in Kentucky. He hasn't brought a case against the murder of Breonna Taylor. In fact, he never even made it an issue. And during the indictment proceedings, he never even brought up murder as an option. So he's, obviously a tool of white supremacy. And I think we need to realize that a lot of these Black elected officials are just that. They're never going to go against, the oppressor at all. They're going to do the bidding. Like Gary said, they're going to be the ones standing outside the window telling on people, rest of the Black people trying to get off the plantation. They're going to be the gatekeeper to oppression. And Angela says white people will stand behind each other. Yeah, they'll stand behind each other regardless of what it is. And we need to stand behind each other and say, hey, we don't like this person in office. They're not serving the community. Let's get together and get rid of their ass. Let's not stand together in nonsense. So we do stand together, but it's not always in our better interest. And I'll close with this. Like, most Black people are Democrats. Why? Why are we Democrats? Why are we standing together against our own better interests? And I'm not saying go be Republicans, because we know they don't like us either, but because we predominantly vote for the Democrats, we are continuously voting against our own better interests by doing that. They have not given or done anything for Black people since the 60s. And we continue to do that.
Now, I'm reading Angela's comment. Angela, y'all keep making your comments. We just pull them randomly. Everybody get in there is going to do the same thing. That's a lie. You know why that's a lie? Because the ones that'll get in there and do what they need to do, they won't let them get in. They cook up the schemes. They fix the races. They will not allow them to get in. So what you're telling me is if I'd have gotten there, if I'd have got that school board seat, I'd have sold my community out, right? I don't think so. So that's why I only raised $900, but my opponent needed $60,000 to beat me. They spent $60,000 to make sure that I never got in there. $60,000 to make sure that I never got in there. So no, you are wrong with that statement. I'm gonna be nice about it, but you're wrong with that statement because in every city, every state, there are great people that run. Black, white, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party. They run, and these people never make it into the office because the powers that be, like Cynthia Ginyard, will not allow them to take their seats. Now, here's my thing. If you're the Democratic chair, ain't you supposed to support all your Democratic people? You supposed to stay away from that? How you support one? The scheme is cooking. The scheme is cooking. But see, like you just said, and I'm going to show you this here because we're going to talk about it a little bit. That's why you didn't get in. But guess what? I don't need no motherfucking diploma. I don't need a quality education. I ain't got to deal with the school to prison pipeline. So who did it hurt more? Me not getting in there. Me or them kids? Think about it the next time you come out the house and you get your head bust open.
And I don't know if people realize it, but $60,000 is quite a bit of money to spend on a local election.
That was totally ridiculous. They don't spend that on a state rep election. But they were not gonna let me get in there, Mama. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But because my first night, this is what I promised you'd have loved it. It would have been epic. I said, I'm coming in with my old Yates t-shirt on, with my hat turned backwards. Now let's get it in. Wouldn't have been nothing to talk about. But no, and I was told by the president of the unions that I had the best screening of any candidate in the history of the damn unions. But even they didn't support me. They put all their muscle behind that woman because they could control her.
And that's what I was going to say. The candidates, see, you would have gotten there and said, nah, I'm not doing none of that. I'm actually going to come in here and do good for the people. I'm going to do what people have expected me to do. And so there's no benefit for the powers to be, Mrs. Ginyards and all them, to have somebody in there with their own mind. They need somebody in there who is going to say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I do it. They need somebody who is going to be a rubber stamp. Somebody who's going to agree with each and everything They're not going to rock the boat. They're not even going to ask why, because at the end of the day, all of these puppeteers, these kingmakers, they're making all the money. I guarantee you, if you look at Mrs. Ginyard's bank account or taxes for, as long as she's been, even right before she got into office, she didn't have anywhere as much money as she has now, because it benefits her to get people in there who's going to do her bidding, because ultimately she's making money. That's the game.
You know what I would not do? I got one endorsement out of all those endorsements. It was tons of them. I got one. And it was from a group that endorsed me because I refused to take money from vendors. I wasn't going to take money from vendors, because if I took money from vendors, if that issue came up and it pertained to that vendor's company, then they would expect me to vote a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I refused to take any money. I got one endorsement. But the biggest endorsement that I got was from all of those people that took the time out to go into the voting booth and push the button of the craziest dude to ever walk the planet when it came to education. And as long as I had the endorsement from the hood, then I was good. I was good, man. So I don't need to change my strategy, because I'm not running for public office. After all the shit I done said the last 6 months, many people will try to destroy me. So no, our strategy is simple: to educate the voters. And trust me, they don't want the war zone on. They never knew I was gonna find Demetri and Donovan. Man, if they could put some Demetri and Donovan guards at the borders of Texas, they'll make sure they never come into Texas. They don't like them. Welcome to the club. You're an outlaw now. They don't like them just like they don't like me, because we tell y'all the truth, and they don't want you to hear the truth. So a lot of the stuff that Al is saying tonight, Al, you own the money. You hear, you see it. You know I'm not lying. For the good people out in Missouri City, say, man, treat them politicians like fucking draws. When they get fucking, throw them away. Don't watch them, throw them away. That's what I'm finna start calling y'all. Y'all that ain't doing right, fucking draws politicians.
Yeah. But the good thing is, it's people like you who, even though you didn't win, and Donovan too, he ran for office and didn't win, you guys continue to do the work. And I don't think people really realize that. A lot of these politicians, a lot of them, when they run and they lose, they go away. And then they come back during election season. And this is what I tell people. When you have those type of politicians out here, we call them Johnny-come-latelys. When they come back during election season, they want your vote, you should ask them, well, what have you been doing in between time? I know you ran last time and you lost, you weren't successful. What were you doing between that time and this time? Were you out there, making a difference, changing, building anything? What were you doing? Or did you just go away and wait it out 4 years to come back and try to lie to people and trick them into thinking you're the best politician? But a good person to vote for would be somebody like Gary, who's out there in the trenches, who's actually doing the work. Those people who don't need a seat or a title, who are doing the work, even if they win or lose, they're out there doing the work because that's who they are. But we don't want that. We want the politicians that are all dressed up and shiny, where they spend $60,000 on a small time local election, put all the signs everywhere. And, as they say, we suffer from the name, Well, I don't know who to vote for. We see that name all the time. We go into the grocery store and we see it when we go over here. So they seem like a good person to vote for. Let's vote for them. But we don't realize that so much money went into making them cosmetically appealing. But we never get down to the root and say, well, what have they actually done?
They would never vote for a Gary Monroe, a Demetri, or Donovan, because it's several reasons, but the main reason is we can't be bought. That's all it boils down to. We can't be bought. And, when you can be bought, then you start playing the games. You can't look your constituents in the eye. You start missing events. You ain't at the parades that you should be at. You see what I'm saying? Because it's hard to look at these people when you know you're screwing them. So another reason that Demetri, Donovan and 5 Star would never be voted in, we too black for them. See, Demetria would look nice. She'd put on a nice dress, and Donovan would probably put on his blazer. Monroe coming up in there with them sweats on. Because I probably been in the community all day working any damn way. And I ain't got time to take off these work boots and these sweats to come up in no meeting so I can look like no goddamn fashion model. We got to solve these issues. Let's get them solved. So from a school board perspective, what do you do if you're in a situation where you represent a district? The thing that I told people that I would do is I would put an office in my district, and you would have the availability to come to that office, not the one downtown at the school board, one in the community, that you could come and you could voice your concerns. Every month before the board meeting, we would have a community meeting. We would go over the actual agenda of the school board meeting. Tell me how you want me to vote on each one of these issues, because it's not me voting, it's y'all voting. This is what affects y'all. Guess what? That made sure that woman had $60,000. And at the last minute, and I'm being honest, they called in the great one to beat me, Dallas Jones. They called in Dallas Jones at the last minute to help that lady with her campaign. But me and her are, we on a decent level. When you're a school board member, you have to remember, even though you represent a district, I would represent District 9, and that's coming up next year. And I'm getting the calls. No, I'm not doing it. If I sat in that seat, I don't represent a district. I represent 240,000 children. And my vote on any issue will affect 240,000 children. That's what it boils down to. And that's where these people lose focus. They go in, they get to playing with that money. But like my dad had told me, you'll never understand the character of a man until you put him in a room full of money. And when you put these people in a room full of money, they will sell out, and they will stand right by the Master's window. Master Monroe trying to escape tonight, Master. He is? Yeah, Master, I'm going to tell you exactly what time he's supposed to do it. When the chickens go in the coop, Master, after you done fed them, Master, Monroe planning on jumping the gate. And get what? I go right there to the Master window. He ain't got to tell you, I'm finna get the hell up out of here.
You guys remember a couple years back, New York City's mayoral race, where they had a guy, I forget his name, but he was representing the rent is too damn high party. Y'all remember him? He had a long white goatee and white hair slicked back in the gloves, and his party was the rent is too damn high. And I thought, well, I would listen to him and stuff. I was like, if I lived in New York City, I will vote for him. And I will vote for him because, his platform was like, hey, regular people can't afford the rent. These are the things from my perspective. And I thought, well, why wouldn't they put somebody like him in office? Why continue electing millionaires and billionaires, to office, that people who are completely out of touch? Here this man is, he's like, listen, I'm on the ground floor, and I'm telling you right now, I can't afford my rent. The rent is too damn high. And he was probably speaking to a lot of people, but for whatever reason, they didn't go vote for him. But that's what, when you were saying that, it's reminded me of, because we do that all the time. We vote against our better interest. Here you are, an advocate for children, even though you don't hold any seats or titles like school board, and you're still doing the job, but they want to get people in there. I mean, that's just like Trump. People talk shit about Trump and Betsy DeVos, that his Secretary of Education. She doesn't have any skills with education, and she shouldn't be in that role at all. But we do that on the lower level all the time. We elect people to school boards who have not, like those people at this point are just running to get something. They don't have any experience at all. They just want to have a title somewhere.
Well, I tell you what, let's have a little fun. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a little fun? Let's have a little fun. Let's name some funky draws politicians that need to be thrown away. And I'm going to start with the big dog. Donald Trump, you a funky draws politician. Who on your list?
All right, let's start with Mitch McConnell. Funky draws.
Maxine Waters, you a funky draws politician.
Well, we got one out here, Mark Takano, funky draws.
My man, the AG up in Kentucky. You a funky draws politician.
And I'm gonna put him on there twice, right behind you, because when I see him, I want to punch him in the face.
I'm gonna make sure that they ride together on the train too. Joe and Kamala, y'all are funky draws politicians. You need to be thrown away. And I'm just telling you, we could go on for days and days. Sylvester Turner, you are funky draws politician. And you need to be thrown away, Negro. Because it's all about the money. And you can't get mad at us because we telling the truth. If I'm not telling the truth, then here's the question. If we not telling the truth, why won't you sue us? We not defaming your character. You a funky draws politician. And that's all it boils down to. Nancy Pelosi, you a funky draws politician. And I'm telling the truth. Sheila, funky draws politician. I don't give a damn how many masses y'all done passed out. I don't care. Okay, you passing out masses in Houston and Fort Bend, but the question is, Houston leads the nation in evictions right now. What you doing about that? Because you can be homeless with that goddamn mask on. Y'all some funky draws politicians. And I mean that. Jared Davis, you a funky draws politician. Cynthia Ginyard, you a funky draws politician. Janelle say Al Green, funky draws politician. All y'all need some new draws, man. Because all y'all is just trash. I'm on fire tonight, though.
Yeah, so as you said, I mean, we really could be here forever. And I think it just really illustrates, especially in our community, yeah, you know, Nancy Pelosi, all of it, but let's really look at our community. The people, the Black people that we continuously elect, and they never deliver. You know, they talk a good game and we love it. I was listening to Dr. Umar Johnson this morning. He was on Nick Cannon's show, and he was talking about how Negroes called Bill Clinton the first Black president. He's saying all he had to do was get on Arsenio Hall and play the saxophone. And he said he wasn't even very good. You know, he wasn't like some jazz great or something, and we just fell out. Oh, he's the first Black politician, but Black president, but he ended up screwing over Black people pretty good with the 3 strikes law. And so we just got to get past the point of, they showed, they got hot sauce in their bag. Oh my God, they playing the saxophone and they know all the Black rappers and all that. We like, come on. You know, and he also called us, and it's very true, we said this before, that Black people are politically immature and we're emotional when it comes to things like politics. They know how to tug on our heartstrings. Like I said, I know a lady I'm good friends with, she says she gonna vote for Joe Biden because he fine. And this is a Black woman. Said Joe Biden was fine.
Yeah, he fine, but if she got him in that room one-on-one, if that Viagra come up missing, he gonna be limp.
So that's the kind of stuff we do. And so, I think we need to start really asking ourselves questions. Okay, I'm gonna go in here. I've been seeing this politician's name all over town, everywhere. Let me do some deep diving analysis. It don't even have to be that deep. Hell, you can go on Google and see what people are saying. Do some research and say, okay, do I really want to be responsible? Because I think people don't realize when you vote for somebody that you are in part responsible for helping them get there, especially if they get there and they don't deliver. So I think we should ask ourselves, do I really want to be responsible for helping to get this person to office? What is this person going to do when they get there? And that is very infuriating to hear that you've elected somebody such as a Mayor Ford, and she won't even come amongst the people. It sounds a little bit bourgeoisie to me. Like, I'm not gonna get along, be amongst those people.
Well, I don't want to put in the wrong category, because I want to make sure people clearly understand. Yolanda Ford is not a funky draws politician. You a funky thong politician.
I knew it was something to it. I was like, what could be worse than funky draws? I guess we just had to wait for it. But yeah, I mean, she won't even come and see how the people are doing. That's that Marie Antoinette attitude. Let them eat cake. Those peasants. I'll only, think about them when it's time to get reelected again. It's like she should never be reelected if that's how, like, what has she done? When you reelect somebody, you're supposed to say, okay, they have done A, B, and C that I like. They were really instrumental when this happened, and all the people that she was really there for them. But if you can't at least name 3 things or good 3 reasons why you should reelect this person, then you shouldn't reelect them. Perhaps you should be looking at their opponent. And then to Gary's point, if somebody is spending $60,000 on someone to get them into office, that should be a red flag. You don't take that kind of money to get somebody on a school board. I mean, no shade to the school board, but it's a
glorified. That's a lot of money to just. All I raised was 900.
Oh yeah,
and gave you the business with 900. But now, 4 years later, your school system is about to be taken over by the state of Texas. Your special ed system, they want to put a conservative in from the Texas Education Agency. Everything I told you was going to happen has happened. So now you want to come running back over here because the massa didn't wake up when you was at the window. Say, Monroe, I know a better way for you to get out. Yeah, now you want to help me, huh? So guess what old Monroe say? I don't want to be on your school board. Not right now, maybe later when I can be on it just like a regular person coming to the situation where it ain't all screwed up and you ain't got the feds in the building. I don't want to come up in there right now. I ain't going to jail fucking with y'all. Not me. You got me messed. Man, they don't put the heat on in the penitentiary in the winter. I ain't going up in there right now, man. Springtime, we might be able to work something out. But the summer and the winter, no, not gonna happen. Not right now. I'm not finna do it. So if you a funky draws politician and you're mad after tonight, wipe yourself down. Go listen to Lil Boosie.
Maybe that's gonna be a new theme song. Wipe me down. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really all I have. I just think we need to look closely at the people we elect, and then look at the people who are trying to get them in office. This Miss Ginyard, if Gary is who she says she is, she should be looked at too. Why did she shove a politician in you guys' faces that did nothing? Like, there's 2 people, Gary and Kimberly, on here said that she did nothing. Like, nothing is that we're dealing in absolutes here. Nothing means like 0. She's done nothing with the time that she was there. Is that not problematic to people as voters? I'm confused.
We really have to understand where we are. And we're in a bad place as Black people. But it's because of our representation. I'm sorry. What would you rather have? A slick ass politician on the school board that ain't gonna do nothing but make a bunch of damn money? You feel what I'm saying? Ain't gonna take care of the kids. Or would you rather have a cigarette smoking, foul mouth, beer drinking fucker that's gonna get iron for them kids? Who you want? I'm like Bernie Mac. Who you with? Who you with? That's our problem. But we so busy trying to get our church members into office, our frat brothers, our sorors, or I know the name. My mama and them used to vote for. They voted for her back in slavery. This ain't the Flintstone era no more. It's time to pass the baton. Final thoughts, Ms. Demetri.
But you ain't lying though about that. My mama and them used to vote for him. Yeah, I mean, I would just say, simply put, if this individual, Miss Yolanda Ford, Mayor Yolanda Ford, I guess, appropriately speaking, has not done anything for the people that she's supposed to be doing stuff for, she shouldn't be back in there. Look at her opponent and see what they're about. You know, she just didn't work out. So we should do that with every race. Look deeply at the person. Okay, say they're black. I want to vote for them because they're black. You know, I want some people that are like me. But because they're black, are they also going to do something besides just be black? Right? Are they going to actually create some policies and legislations and, you know, make life better for black people that look like them? If they're not going to do that and they haven't been doing that, then send them packing. They made enough money the time they're in there. They'll be all right. Send them packing.
I'm going to tell you this here, man. If you're a funky draws or a funky thong politician and you want to clear that, you come sit down on the war zone. You quit running. You quit running because we're in the middle of politics right now. We going hard in the paint every night. We going hard in the paint every night. So I will say this here, that some days you get what you pay for. Remember, your vote is a transaction. So you pay for that funky draw politician, then that's what you got. So to all my politicians out there in the game, if your draw's been funky for 4 years, it's time to change.
Did you see Al's comment?
People who vote for Yolanda Ford thinking it's Yolanda Adams. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. And she ain't no closer to God than the devil himself. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna leave y'all with this here. You know, every now and then some theme music. You politicians need to find you a stripper pole. Because we ain't gotta make it rain. You need to make it rain on the community, man. If you're a funky draw politician, come holler at Demetri and Donovan. Tomorrow night, we got one that ain't wearing funky draws, live from Missouri City, Texas. Fred Taylor gonna be in here, and he running for mayor. Cynthia, you rocking with your girl? I'm rocking with Fred, and I'll make you a promise. We gonna kick your ass on November 3rd. Ain't gonna be no runoff. Until tomorrow night, we'll holler at y'all. Chicken ladies, I've been rolling by the week. You can tell I